introduce and hand over to Karim from UNIA in Switzerland, who's chairing this session. If I might just also, if I may, Karim, say that very unfortunately, Manuel Cortez, who some of you will have met earlier this week, who is the General Secretary of one of the transport workers unions here in the UK, had to be called back down to London because there's a big strike going on in the London Underground at the moment, and he tried to hang on, and he was trying to run the strike from a telephone upstairs, and eventually he was told, you have to come back down, so he has to leave. I'm delighted that Bert Schoenberg from GMB has agreed to step in at no notice whatsoever in his place, so thank you, Bert. Karim,
thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Okay, so I think we continue the discussion we led in our discussion. We had a very rich discussion in our group, I hope you too. And now we're going to have 3 contributions on their perspectives of the union party relationship. And we're going to start with Bert. We noticed in our discussion group that the perspective depends very much on the situation or the state of the union party relationship in the respective countries, but there are certain similar developments or certain type of developments, and we're going to see whether this is going to be the same here with the 3 presentations. So I ask Bert to start.
Okay.
Replacing Manuel.
Right, thank you very much.
Oh, sorry, I forgot something. Sorry about
Go
that. We're half an hour late, which means that we're going to lead the panel discussion until 4 o'clock. We're going to have the second plenary discussion from 4 o'clock to 4:45, and the discussion groups from 4:45 to 5:30. Okay. Right.
Okay. Thank you. Well, as Dave said, Manuel can't be here, and I don't pretend for a minute that I'm going to give you anything like a polished performance that Manuel would have given you, because he'd have written it out and it made a lot of sense. Instead, you're going to have to listen to me burble on for about 5 minutes, making it up as I go along. Now, what I want
a true Labour leader.
Exactly. Yes, I should be a candidate for the Labour Party leadership. From a British perspective and perspective, the link between the Social Democratic Party in the UK, i.e. the Labour Party, and the trade unions is a historic one. In fact, the Labour Party, as the name suggests, is described still today, mistakenly in my view, as the political wing of the trade union movement. And it's worth having, I think, a brief glimpse of putting it into context. My union, the GMB union, was born out of the struggle of the gas workers in the East End of London at the end of the 19th century during the Industrial Revolution. That's where my union came from. It fought its way to prominence, literally in many cases. Pitched battles in the streets with employers all over the country trying to get the union organised. The first General Secretary, a man called Will Thorne. He was illiterate and he was helped in his work by Eleanor Marx. Karl Marx's daughter was a senior official, probably the first woman senior official in the trade union. We're immensely proud of that, of Eleanor Marx and her role in what is now the GMB. So, as the 19th century turned to the 20th century, it was decided that the GMB, it wasn't called the GMB then, it was the General Workers' Union, needed a voice in Parliament, because at the time the only voices in Parliament were those of what we now call the Conservatives and the Liberals. There was no Labour Party. So the Labour Party was born out of the trade unions. Will Thorne was one of the first MPs. Tragically, Eleanor Marx died before the First World War, and a split came along in the Labour movement in the Great Britain, whereas some Labour leaders, so when I say Labour leaders I mean trade union leaders, decided to support Great Britain in the Great Imperialist War of 1914 to 18, and others didn't. Will Thorne sadly did the war. Had Eleanor Marx been alive, the union might have taken a very different political direction. Anyways, time goes by. The Labour Party undoubtedly espoused the views of the trade union movement in Parliament. Many of its MPs were working class people like Thorne, and that continued. But if we come up to today, we see a dramatically different picture. My union supports the Labour Party. It doesn't just support it; it affiliates to it. So the affiliation costs something like £1 million a year because of the amount of people it affiliates. It also pours money into the Labour Party during elections. Now, there's a number of questions to be asked here. One is, should my union continue to do this? And two, and this is a question that is very rarely asked. I ask it, and I'll get in trouble through it. Is the political process now worth taking part in at all? Because even now, had we had a Labour government elected the last time around, the difference between that government and the government we have now, would be quite small. One of my colleagues describes it well. He said it's worth the support in the Labour Party because at least if we get a Labour government, it gives us a bit of space in which to work. And I take that. But the other side of that coin is the opportunity cost, isn't it? If you think of all the money that we and other unions like Unite, for example, we were talking in our group about how much money Unite put in. If you look at the amounts of money that we put in, the opportunity cost, what could we do with that money? The Labour Party. We could spend it on organising, we could spend it on summer schools, we could spend it on all sorts of things. So I think it's important to bear that in mind. And I think the other point to make is that not just our trade union, but other trade unions, they don't have a political philosophy themselves. They don't have their own political programme mapped out. They just support the least worst alternative, which is the Labour Party. But I would like to come back to the point about the whole system itself, and I don't think this is just, it's probably more true of Britain because of the electoral system we have here than other places, but you watch the game that we're playing here. Because in my view, and I say, now this isn't my personal view, it isn't shared by everyone in my trade, the system is in place not to change anything, the system is in place to prevent change. And it's not an original thought when you say actually putting a cross in a ballot box. You, at the same time, you might say you're affirming, you're expressing a choice. You're also power away to a political class that, in many cases, doesn't represent your interests at all. I always remember what Maurice Bishop said. I remember Maurice Bishop, who was a leader of Grenada in the 1980s. He says, "You have a wonderful democracy in Great Britain. 20 seconds every 5 years." And he knew exactly what he meant. So I think there's an argument to be had, certainly a debate to be had, whether playing this game is worth it, not just for the money, because representative democracy, as it's referred to, does it really give us, as a trade union, does it give us any real power at all? I would suggest that the union is a democratic union, and it's the members that decide whether we affiliate to the Labour Party or not. I'm a paid official, so really it's nothing to do with me. What the members do, I have to get on with. But it does beg another question as well, because the people that decide to affiliate to the Labour Party, the people that decide to support the Labour Party, are the activists of the union. And many of the activists of the unions are active in the Labour Party as well. They believe in the system, and sadly there are quite a few of them use the union as a vehicle for their own political ambitions. The Houses of Parliament are full of ex-trade union officials, and this point's been made by various people, who once they get into Parliament seem to forget where they come from. So polls have shown, and again this was raised in our discussion group, far being natural Labour supporters, when it comes to voting in an election, our membership reflects voting patterns at large in the country. And in the last election that's just taken place, our polls show that in fact the majority of our members didn't vote Labour. In fact, most of them probably didn't vote at all, and many of those that did vote voted for the United Kingdom Independence Party or the Conservative Party. So there's certainly no mass demand, if I can put it that way, for membership of the Labour Party or supporting the Labour Party. Again, anecdotally, the Labour Party in this country is electing a new leadership after Miliband resigned, the previous leader, after the last election. And the trade unions, my trade union included, is trying to make sure, because the rules of the Labour Party have changed, as many trade unions as possible become members of the Labour Party to vote for the leadership of the Labour Party. And the response we're getting back is a wave of apathy. Nobody is interested. I think we managed to get 3,000 people signed up who can vote in the Labour Party leadership. Again, that's reflected in national voting patterns. The largest segment of votes were the people that didn't vote at all. And a lot of people aren't fooled because they know what elections are for. And I have to keep stressing, this is my personal view, because I know it's recorded, and I think I said this last year, I want to stay in a job a little longer. Because so many politicians, and this has been in the leadership debate for the Labour Party, so many politicians and would-be leaders stress the point they have to be pro-business. You hear this over and over again, but it's very true. Unless you toe the line, unless you say you are pro-business, and unless you say, in many cases you are pro-free trade, so on, this whole gamut of neoliberal policy, you won't get elected. Because you'll be slaughtered by the press, you'll be slaughtered on radio and TV, so you have to espouse a set of policies that are going to get you elected. And those set of policies invariably mean you're showing that you can run capitalism better than the other lot. That's really what it boils down to. So that begs the question, should we be supporting any of them? Because that's not our agenda, is it? So, I've got absolutely no answers to this question whatsoever, as you can hear, but I think they are the points we need to consider. But what I would say is, because of the historical links that our union and other unions in Britain have with Labour, there's almost tribal. It doesn't seem to matter what they do to us, what indignities we have to endure, because history tells us when we do get a Labour government elected, look at the last one we had, they invaded Iraq. There's a real socialist government for you, isn't it? But we don't seem to learn the lessons of history. Now, I'm not a Trotskyist, but one thing the Trotskyists say, every British government since the Second World War has been more right-wing than the previous one. And you look at it, and that's absolutely true, be it Labour or Conservative. So this whole electoral system, how far is it going to get us? Is it worth spending on that money, all that money on? Well, I'm not so sure that it is. And I suppose the last thing I say, because I realise I haven't got much time to say, they call the Labour Party the political wing of the trade union movement, but I'm afraid, as far as I can see, parliaments are merely the political wing of free business.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll keep your questions and comments for afterwards, when we heard all the presentations, and we continue with Menaha Kandasamy from Sri Lanka.
Yeah. Thank you very much. First thing I would like to tell you, I have all rights to look at the parties and trade unions because I'm an inside person, right? So the criticism or whatever I see, it's for the good. Right, it's not just to hit any party, any unions, because I am concerned about working class. So I have to look at, very carefully where are the holes and how we can develop this. So that's the reason. In that perspective, I'm going to start my presentation. And I would like to tell you also, in Sri Lankan history, left parties are very, very powerful. In 40s, they were really good, and the left parties' trade unions were fighting very good. And people like us, when we were young, we were very attracted to read this whole history and all. We never forget about them. We still respect all those comrades. And also we learn a lot of things from them, right? So that learning helped us to look at very closely what are the things we have to develop. When I received an email and I saw the title, it's a political parties, and trade union relationship, and the word divorce, divorce, then I thought, last 3 years we are going through with, shall we divorce? Or shall we separate, or shall we live with the pain, right? So which is more good for workers? So this is the question we were going through, and it's the right time we received. Oh, okay, I can share here. And I want to tell you there is no numbers or figures or anything. I'm going to talk about the truth, what is happening now. Okay, so this one. You can see this, you know. The parties, left parties, are very much control the trade unions, left trade unions, right? So I just put, I'm not good with IT, I'm not an IT person. I try to put slight cracks because of the pressure, party pressure, how trade unions are cracked. So, you know, in late 40s, it was like one left party, and it's like a big trade union, you can see, mass trade union. But late 50s and 60s, what happened? If something happened in Russia or China, it will affect us, right? So in 60s, the left party divided into Chinese wing, Russian wing, all wings came. But it's not only party, because they already, the unions are very pressurized by parties. So the trade unions also divided, the workers divided. Okay, then later on, and again another division. So it's just divided the workers, which are supposed to be, we were expecting, when, I just want to tell you, when I was a bit young, where I can understand about these politics, I thought, okay, the trade unions will organize workers, and different trade unions can organize workers. Party will bring all these workers as a working class for the revolution or for the change, right? So that's what this red flag means, right? So what happened? And also we expect the party should include the youth, women, minorities, formal sector, informal sector. Still there are a lot of, you can. If they take all this into party, then yeah, you can think about change, right? But what is happening now, you can see already party youth are not there and women are not there, but there is no, party is not saying don't come youth. It's not attracted to youth, right? It's not youth's need, there. And women, no. Minorities issues, because especially this is about Sri Lanka I'm talking about. Sri Lankan left party leaders or politburos who make decisions, you can see they all are majority representative. So they can't get the paying minorities and also the minority workers, but the working class, if you take percentage, it's more minority community representing working class. So the party leaders can't get that pain, So that's another issue, and also informal sector, and there are other blank, I just left it. But I have a doubt, maybe I am wrong. They bought the concept from West, like the class concept. It's like a factory and it's formal sector. Maybe that's a reason they didn't see the informal sector. Because if you take, even India, if you take a history, from the beginning we have an informal sector. It's not something newly came, right? So when that informal sector, why they couldn't see as a working class, I don't know, right? So I have a perception, maybe the class conscious, they just noticed something, they didn't analyze it, what is the local situation. This is my criticism about that. Okay, so always we want parties and trade unions, their relationship has to be flow, It's not like top down, it has to flow, right? But I will tell you, before I enter into these gaps, a lot of people criticize about people like us that you're not political enough, right? Because you are criticizing, right? I will challenge and I will say we are political enough. We have that political lenses. That's why we can see these gaps. If we are not political enough, we can't see these gaps, right? Number one, already I explained the class, right? They just left the informal sector, which is increasing and increasing. So they left. And the gender issue, right? So they are very gender blind, right? The decision-making body in the left, it's a communist party or socialist party, the gender blind. And the leadership. I want to talk about this leadership because don't personalize anything. I see leadership has to be rotate system, right? Yeah. Lifelong leadership you can see in these parties. Until they die, they are the leaders, right? You want, there is no others. And also because I have a lot of discussion about these old leaders, they always say, oh no, you know, my experience, you won't do like this, you know, you are young, you can't see. Of course, yes, you stay there. We are not asking you to leave. You support us, help us, right? After you die, then what is going to happen to the movement? What is going to happen to the party, right? So that lifelong. And also the leadership, another thing I want to tell you, it's very male-centered, right? It's very, very male-centered. The interesting thing, even Communist Party or Socialist Party, if you check the membership list, the majorities are women, right? It never reflects with the leadership or decision-making body, right? So therefore, that's a big gap, because if leadership, you know, is somewhere else and the members are somewhere else, what's the point? There's no connecting point. You never can lead the group, you know, what they want, right? Anyway, another issue I just put, I'm not going to explain that here, caste, this is based on Indian experience. I just thought, you know, the Indian left parties also this, we have an issue, ethnicity issue. They have a caste issue, right? Yeah. So it's like, when we have ethnicity already, I explained that's a big gap. You know, it's very hard to explain. It's very painful to explain because I'm also minority. And when you take up the issues to parties, right? And for them, that's not an issue, you know. So again, we have to think, what is the trade union issue? What is the workers' issue? It's very difficult. It's a party's issue. Oh, it's maybe political party. We can't take workers' rights there. So it's something else, you know. So it's a big complicated issue. Again, the youth. No, I can give you one example. When in the small city Kandy, I am living there, I really want to get into Communist Party, right? So I was, you know, I don't know, I really felt, okay, we try to go and do something, right? Somehow I managed to get into Communist Party, right? And they said, you have to go through this class, that class. I said, okay, fine. I want to get in. The first meeting, I enter into the hall size is like this. I was a bit late, I think 2 minutes late. I entered and I opened the door and again I closed and went back. Because I saw it's like all above maybe 65 years, 70 years. I'm not, you know, they all well, maybe knowledgeable people and all. I didn't think I couldn't fit myself into that crowd. I thought maybe I came to another meeting. Then I couldn't see any women there. So I went back and someone came and asked, why you came? I said, oh, I'm a new member. Today I invited. Oh, okay, come and sit, right? So the attraction for youth is not there, and also youth's issue, you know, young workers issue or nothing taken up. Another big thing I want to say without taking more time, the electoral alliance with bureaucrat parties, right? Is it right? Bourgeois party. Right? That is a big drama in Sri Lanka. I don't want to say any other country, I'm just saying Sri Lanka. You know, these communist parties and socialist parties, all the left parties, they always tell the members that we have to be inside the parliament, you know. Then why? If we are not there, then nothing will change. The workers are going to be in trouble. If we are there, we can make change, right? Okay, maybe that's true. We don't know. They went. It's a long time ago. They went. And the changes, waiting. Nothing changed. They changed. Right? But actually, it's very painful. Do you know why? It's very painful because the members are waiting with a big hope, right? But finally, what we get, the against minority laws, in a parliament, they agreed, right? Against workers' law, they agree. Emergency law, they agree, right? So, which you don't want. You don't want. So, you are coming inside the parliament, you are in a white dress and coming out and wearing red t-shirt. We don't want that, right? We want you to take the policies and we want you to understand the workers' struggle, right? Anyway, so these gaps, why I am concerned about these gaps in the parties, because I am coming from the Communist Party trade union, right? That's why my union called Red Flag Union, right? Even the name, right? When we started to, because the party and the trade union relationship is, it's like, what are the gaps we identify in the parties? Everything in the trade union, right? I don't need to make another slide. I actually started to make a slide, then I realized, why I'm making 2 slides, you know? It's everything is there. In trade union, left trade unions, leadership never change until they die. They will be male leadership, no informal sector including, and they all target why they are with the parties, left parties, they want to go to the parliament. They want to go to, you know, it is like, what's the English word, ladder? Or barrier, or bridge or ladder, or, you know, it's just you go to parliament. So that's, you know, so you want to be there. Another thing in the trade union and the parties, always left parties expect the trade union general secretary to be a party Politburo member. Then only they can control easily, right? And what I want to say, we expect another issue I need to share with you all. What is party or what is trade union? We always think we include the members, right? Party is not only party leaders, no. Party means party leaders including members. The trade union also, the trade union means not only leaders or executive committee or whatever, it's including members, right? The members should feel this is my union or this is my party, right? When they will feel, they have to be from the beginning, from the planning process or whatever discussion in the decision making process. Unless if they are not there, it is something isolated. If I have a problem, if I am a member, I just call, oh, my problem, I have to call the union, and I call the union. Union will do, the union is someone else. I am not part of union because I never get that feeling that it is my union. Okay, then I want to just, okay, before I go to this, I want to just share one thing. 3 years before our, it was a big struggle. The struggle, we never expect from the party, we need to, when we start to criticize this all, so party started to criticize us, and our trade union general secretary started to put us out. So somehow members understood, you know, members, they can understand, you know, who is doing what. And they turn upside down, right? They really call for, there is a constitution, our constitution says members, if general secretary is not calling for AGM, members can call for AGM. So the members call the AGM, right? That is the AGM in 2012. I elected as a general secretary. It was the first woman general secretary for left parties in Sri Lanka. So then once when we start to talk about now, by the time when I elected, I was not a party because I went to party and came out from the party, because there's the 18th amendment which is totally against to minority. The party supported to bring that. So all the minority, most of the minority people came out from party. So I'm one of them. Anyway, so when I came out, it's like an anti-party person now holding a left trade union. So a lot of difficulties. The problem what we are having now is inside the trade union, we have Communist Party members, we have non-Communist Party members like us people. So the old comrades, new comrades, and we try to bring all new, minority. We were very careful because we were highly criticizing the trade union, old trade union leadership and traditional trade union leadership. So we should not make the same mistake again. We were trying to bring everything together. But because this is in a, we were not living together, now separated, but still not divorced. right? So if you're not divorced, they can use it, you know. So when May Day comes, they need us, right? They quickly call us. Can you, you know, it's okay, you can talk whatever you want. So can you come with your member or your member? Then we say, no, sorry, you know, our workers already organized in a small city May Day one. Oh, okay. So can you have our banner also there? Oh, sorry, we have our banner. You can put your banner. It's not. So we are going through this, you know, until we get divorced, what is going to happen, right? That is a big crisis. And I'm going to put some questions and I'm going to just stop. Maybe I'm taking more time. Still, future of the trade unions. When we think about this, shall we divorce or reunite? So we have to think about future of our trade unions, future of working class we have to think about. And one thing still I have a problem, right? Okay, we divorce and come out. What are we going to do? One single trade union, what we are going to do? So then we have to think about new mechanism, you know, what we expect from party, right? Which mechanism can help us? We can't just isolate ourselves and stay alone. Okay, we divorce from party, we don't want party, right? So we have to think about a mechanism. So that's the question I'm going to put you all and stop my time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Menaha. That was very interesting, your insight. We're going to take up your last question for the discussion afterwards, after we heard our colleague Fatima Aguado from Comisiones Obreras.
Yeah.
Spain. Okay, you got the word.
Just
You're okay?
go here. Present. Can you click here?
F5.
And present. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
So, hello everybody, I'm Fatima Aguado from Comisiones Obreras, Spain, and I will try to, after such a fantastic presentation, I will try to be brief and I will try to explain more or less how Comisiones Obreras was created and then how we worked and what is our relationship with the new parties. I know that, how many of you knows about Podemos? All of you. Okay, most of you. Okay. So let's start. Well, CC.OO is a socio-political union, working class, pro-unitary, independent, participatory mass of men and women, socio-political, internationalist, multi-ethnic and multicultural. Just to start. It's a good
Doesn't it do anything else?
No. Well, it was created. How was created? You know that in after the Civil War ended in 1939, there was a Spanish fascist dictatorship for 36 years. So the workers' conditions were really bad, and there was this vertical union, which was the union of the fascist power. And what's a group of communists supported by the Communist Party and Catholics against the regime, people against the regime. What they did was to infiltrate themselves in the vertical union of the system, and they were creating what it was called Comisiones Obreras, which means workers' commissions. So if they had a problem, they just created this kind of workers' commission and they dissolved immediately, okay, in order not to be punished. And this was, this is a picture of 1957. We can say this is the origin of Comisiones Obreras. These, of course, are miners. They have had a very important role in the development of and they made a strike. You know, it was totally a surprise from the fascists and from the dictatorship, of course. After a lot of struggles, this is the illegal. After the dictatorship died in 1975, the other union, the other main union, came back to Spain. It was accepted, but as the origins of Comisiones were supported by the Communist Party, they were prosecuted. So they asked for permission to come from a socio-political movement to a trade union confederation. And as it was forbidden, they went to Barcelona. There was supposed to be like 2,000 people, and it was forbidden. So they went to Barcelona and they celebrated in a church, because most of the meetings of the comisiones were held in churches. Probably because they wouldn't fight us there. So with the support of some Catholics, and this was the first assembly, the General Assembly, in which Comisiones Obreras was established as a trade union. The man you can see there stand up is Marcelino Camacho, who was our founder. Okay. During the transitional period, it was a transition period in Spain, we were prosecuted. Thousands of workers were prosecuted and put in jail until this tragic day. There was Comisiones Obreras created an office of lawyers, and they were defending workers' rights, right? The transition period after the dictatorship was a little bit complicated. So a group of radical fascists into this office, and they killed 5 lawyers. So, and the answer of the party and of the Comisiones Obreras was this demonstration. You can see there the death, but it was totally a signal of respect and these are not monsters. These are respectable people, and so after that it was legalized. CC.OO. Okay, we passed from this year to this year, which is 2011. Maybe many of you remember, this is the Indignados movement, okay? What happened? There was a group called Democracia Real Ya, the Real Democracy Now. It was a group of students who felt that they were not represented by the system, by party system, in which, after years of crisis, there's no job, no house, nothing, no hope for workers, no hope for young people. It started in a very stupid way, because there were like 40 people that wanted to sleep on the Puerta del Sol. This is the main square. As the police beat them, they say okay, and it was like a viral movement, and people for more than 1 month were living there. It was amazing debate. I was in Greece at the time, and I was like, I want to come back to Spain. We were all very excited. I was living 1 minute away, so it was amazing when you can live this movement. But the this new movement was there, was the Indignados. There has no perspective. But it was. At the same time, there was a rejection. The Movimiento 15M, which is the movement of the 15th of May, Indignados, rejected traditional political parties and rejected unions. So, us union, right? Saying, you are not representing me. Why? Because we are not able, or we weren't able of organizing precarious people without job, migrant workers, etc. And I think this is a problem that many of the people have. So, as a social political movement, it was created this kind of protest against the privatization of services, and the role of the union has been with them. Been together with the movement, with the social movement, but not trying to put our flags like, look, I am here and the union. So this is the green tire. I told you I'm going fast. To avoid education, you can see colors. This is a social services, which is a very precarized sector. We signed this year the first collective agreement, but they didn't want CC.OO nor UGT, because they say, where are you been? Where did you? You are never here. Okay, it's a problem we face with precarious workers. This is water, the water struggle. We have been fighting very hard with the water movement organized by PSI and EPSU, and it has been very important for us because we have have this relationship with them. This is a violet movement. It stopped the abortion law it was to be implemented by the government, and it was it was very strange because it was organized by these women. There were like 7 women getting a train from Asturias, from the north of Spain to Madrid, and in 10 days it was like crazy people, everybody on the street saying no. This was 1 million people in the demonstration. But you have to think that we say, okay, we give you our space, CC.OO space made after the demonstration, and they wanted to delay the name of CC.OO, and it was like, you cannot avoid it. It's like such a big, but to see more or less how they are against the union movement. This is the whites against sanitary health, and we stopped health privatization together, and against doctors and nurses. They didn't want the union to be near. This is a picture of the general strike. As you can see, we have a little bit of power. It was against the labor reform, and it was success. As a consequence of the labor reform, we have more than of this general strike and the conservative government, we have more than 400 trade unionists that have been accused for doing strike and that can be put in prison. And we are waiting for the results of the court. And we are not 8, we are thousands, because 8 workers from Airbus were accused for having punished whatever, and it was not true. There was a police inside the Airbus company who, we don't know, he got nervous and he boom, boom, boom. And at the end, the workers were accused for that. It's democracy, as you can see. And let's go here. Since the political movement, since the indignados and all this feeling, there has to be any way of mobilizing all these feelings. So new political parties were created, or they already existed, but there was no import. ECO is the Green Party. It already existed by a year before the Podemos, and Ciudadanos, which is you can see it seems very modern, but they are not. They say, oh, we are not left, not right, we are center, middle, and a lot of their employers and capitalists and this kind. By the way, I belong to ECO. As you can see, my union is independent because I belong to ECO and not to the Communist Party, and there are people in the union from the Socialists, from not political party at all, and the only reference is the union. This happens very common. And then you have Podemos. And you have seen Podemos, why? Because it has been a mass media phenomenon. It has been succeed. This is a picture of the demonstration they made before the elections this year. And why is it a phenomenon? We can think that there are several characteristics for these success, and this is some experts said that it is, first of all, the fight for the hegemony. Podemos doesn't want any other critical insight, even if they already have criticals inside Podemos. Maybe the populism, some populist ideas, something from Lenin, and something from Carl Smith as well. But they say, and I'm reading, they say, Podemos is a tool to the service of citizenship, and it has the objective of recovering the power of the people as well as the democratic deficit that we are living. So this is a problem, democratic deficit. We have showed it, creating an open structure, changing and alive, democratic. They are organized in circles. We discussed about this yesterday. And the real structure is not so modern. They have general secretary, all of them are men, by the way. It's very modern. It's the only difference is that they are like 35 years old. They are not 65, but many of them are men. Creators of the party are teachers of the university, and many of the followers of Podemos, it was burned in the university, and also it was supported by a party called Izquierda Anticapitalist Left, who has been inside. Podemos, this is the result of the after the European elections. It was like we got like 5 deputies. You should see the face of the vice president of the Conservative Party saying Podemos 5. She was totally yellow. She couldn't believe it. What is happening is really it's strange. We are facing as union an attack from the parties, and at the same time an attack from Podemos. That they say you are the cast in the trade union case. You know, like we just have. They say unions are necessary, but we don't want this kind of unions, so you don't represent us. This is what mainly they say. So this has provoked. Then I will explain this. This has provoked and caused a new circle, which is Podemos Unionist. We can Unionist, and they have created a union, which is Somos. And they say no funds, no people rebuild from the workplace. We are the change, and we will see that. Because many of the people who are also criticizing the union and the leaders and those who are in the management team of the union used to be part of we have 3 different opinions in the union, 2 or 3. So the most radical are taking we can say that they're saying, okay, we need to change the unionism, we need to change the union. So they're trying to take this opportunity. We think, opportunity is taken in the workplace when you go there and you organize the workers. And at this moment, we are still the first union. But anyway, these are anti-union, anti-main unions, anti-CC.OO. For the change, we think that we are there has been corruption scandal from the other union and unfortunately one from my union. The reaction was very hard for us. I mean, we fired the man who made this issue, and but we have been beaten by that. The good thing is that there has been a renovation, so everything now it has to be transparent, democratic, open. We are obliged to publish everything we do. So I think that and a system of rotation every 8 years. We cannot be 8 years, more than 8 years in the same place. By the way, I said, okay, so I'm leaving because I have been in the union already for like 10, 11 years, so I'm leaving. However, it must be an engagement of precarious workers, and it has to be a challenge for us to consolidate us in the workplace. And what the consequence of all this movement, it has also been the yellow unions that are getting a lot of power. We thought, okay, with Podemos, they are going to be Somos or another unions, struggling. No, the consequence is totally the opposite. Yellow unions very. I would also want to mention that, which is a little bit schizophrenic, because, for instance, I am critical with Podemos, but Podemos didn't present themselves to the municipalities. We have had these citizenship candidacies. So, you have seen here Ahora Madrid and Ganem Barcelona en Común, which is let's gonna win Barcelona together. The mayor of Barcelona now, she was the leader of a citizen platform for fighting evictions. In Spain, a lot of people were losing their houses. So now she's the mayor of Barcelona. And in Madrid, the new mayor, she was one of the lawyers who was in that building, remember that I told you about the people killed. And that day she wasn't there. but she has always been, well, she's a judge, retired, she's old, she's 71 years old, and she's amazing. And I say this because what they have created is this. Podemos went to the elections with their own name, but they supported this new citizenship. The criticism is, after all the job made in this, for instance, Ahora Madrid, ECO was there, the Green Party, and all different citizenships associations and so on. And when all the job was made, Podemos say, okay, I'm here, as I'm going to be voted, you have to make the list as I want to be, as I propose. So this is to make you understand a little bit how they fight for hegemony. They think that single party, big one, to have the power. But what is true is that we are in the middle of a transition period, very important one, historically. With this, I mean, you can imagine conservative people are very, very aware, because you have citizens, unionists, normal people in the power, in the makers. So they are very aware. They don't think we are able of doing that. But what happened was like an illusion, and it was like a crazy fancy movement of everybody. Listen this, for instance, in the case of Madrid, listen this woman like, oh, that's gonna, and our own concern as union is that it doesn't matter if the political actors change. It doesn't matter. But the important thing is that we have to negotiate with them in the future. So they have to listen us, because we as a union organizing workers in the workplace, but we create opinion, we write books, you know, we want to influence them. So in some municipalities, they are already doing that. And to finish, I'm gonna show you a little video of what it means, this citizenship change and everything, which is leading. Let's see if I find it. This is this. It doesn't matter if you understand, but
que no nos valen unas campañas electorales que para mí me parece que son como de plástico, de cartón, y que parece que en lugar de hablar de la gestión política, de cómo podemos mejorar de todo, estamos vendiendo un producto, un detergente, un quitamanchas o cualquier cosa. Esto no puede ser.
And this is about the change. And something that unions need to reflect. It is not that unions are here and workers are there. And that's the main problem of unions. Yeah. Already finished. Well, it's like a summary of what happened. Okay. I think it's already finished. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. So, for your. Okay, we're now open for your questions, reflections. I'll take numbers. That was a good idea of yours. Okay, put up your hands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1.
I would like to ask the audience, what is my height in centimeters? Have a guess, please.
What is?
My height.
How tall?
How tall I am?
165.
Okay.
65. That is a scientific measurement. When we have that divorce, separation, marriage, children, something like that, I was sliding for my domestic situation and completely forgot about academic language. I would like to see a bridge at the sign between union and a party and use two words, improvement, what is we doing not very good, and development, what we are doing good. Because any unity is bigger power than if we stay separately. A few years ago, many years ago, I wanted to be a doctor, but my mom told me, oh, Irina, you have a very bad heart, I have an illness, and I went to labor economics. And only today I recognize, I follow my professional karma, and I took that 5-year degree to be a qualified labor economist. But what I learned for 5 years, just one sentence, never stick with one thing, always make development. But after Karl Marx, Lenin, what we have now, pyramid of Maslow, nothing else. Stop blaming. Let's develop our manifesto. Let's make communications from different parties. Don't be an enemy. Send a message. Because only united. You need to look not enemy, your friends, your allies, or anybody, follows, friends, volunteers, whatever. Then only united people can win. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Number 2. Right. Okay.
My question to the board.
Okay.
How is the your trade unions try to control over the Labour Party in Britain? Because you already mentioned that you have a good relationship with the Labour Party, and you also explained that yes, when the Labour Party is into the power, there is very less gap between the Conservative and the Labour in the policies. So, how you try to control, try to influence the policy of the Labour Party itself? Because when they reach into the power, they try to balance with the capital and the Labour. So, how can you overcome for that? So, what is your policy?
Number 3. Mm-hmm.
All right. They say the curiosity killed the cat, and it's a bit like that with at least when I see the Swedish Labour Party, Social Democrats, and even the UK Party. Neoliberalism killed the Social Democrats. It's my opinion. At least in the eyes of the workers. One of the questions was, do we need political parties from the labor movement, from the unions? Yes, we need them, because much of our questions, the things that our members need is political questions, in fact. It's impossible to strike for better health insurance, for example, because it's a political question. You need politicians who parliament. And the neoliberalism, what I see in the Social Democratic Party, this is a division in the party. The members on the floor, the members of the party, want to see a different politics. But the leadership wants to go to the middle class and give them what they think they want. And there you have a very big, and that tension also reflects in the unions. So the unions get more and more annoyed with what the party does. and still we are keeping our mouth shut in the official outside. We don't talk about this in front of public, and that I think is a mistake. If you don't take the confrontation and the quarrel within the family, you never get to make any change. It's like home. If you don't quarrel with your wife, what will happen? Both will be silent and go and look at each other, and that's not good, really. And I think in the family, in the family, you have to do this. And also in the political family, and between the unions and the political party, the Labour Party. As I'm a member of, really, I'm not very well liked up there, but I don't care a shit about that, really. We need a quarrel to get better politics. We must leave this neoliberal. This will be our death, because the curious can kill the cat.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, number 4.
Yeah, Manuel, I strongly believe that the Labour Party is a rotten. Well, you know how far the last election has been. I don't know if I know there's some left candidate and other, but I think the rot goes deeper than that. And I'll go straight to the point. At what point, or what is the possibility, even if it is with just a few of the unions, of a rupture? You can't keep embalming these corpse with the money and legitimacy of the trade unions. And regarding Menaha, I love that pyramid, the party kind of like sitting on the union and pulling on it, you know. But when you also look at it, it's quite graphic. The trade unions might also be kind of like, you know, squeezing the life out of the working class. I mean, the trade union is really speaking. So I think that the challenge is truth is always concrete anyway, and the specific situations and all that. So, but I think that where and when you can talk of trying to fight for the soul of the trade unions, and although we're seeing also as some say, where the parties meet, if it is possible to fight for its soul, I think what is good, what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. And with the issue of Podemos, I think Podemos it finds the rhythm of the poetry of the moment. That's my view of it. I don't totally agree with its politics, but what it has largely, it's not just accidental that what 40 people started just became such a mass movement. If it did not latch into and exist in a palpable discontent with the trade unions as much as the establishment parties. So I think part of the challenge also, and in a sense I'm happy that is implicit in your presentation, the unions and radical and civil society based unions like CC.OO also need to retool their acts, as you said is been. That is also a lesson to a number of us on the way forward in our different countries, within the different countries.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll have to see that. We're brief. I give the floor to Bert because you were asked a specific question.
Yeah, the specific question you asked, wasn't it, is about how can the trade unions control the Labour Party? Well, we're supposed to be negotiators, aren't we? That's what we do for a living. Well, we're pretty lousy negotiators as far as I can see. Because we've given the Labour Party a small fortune over a long period of time and got very little back. But it's fair to say, without the trade unions, there is no Labour Party. The Labour Party is completely bankrupt. So you would think, wouldn't you, that the trade unions had more leverage? But what's happened over the years, I'm no expert on the Labour Party constitution, I've nothing to do with it. But over the years, what the Labour Party has done is give party members and trade unions less and less influence over what policies they follow. So there is something called a policy forum, which the trade unions can make submissions to, but really we have very little say in what the final document looks like when they go to an election. So that's the answer. the brutal truth is, and it won't surprise you, is the Labour Party wants our money, but they don't want our politics.
Okay, I think we've got to come to a conclusion. I'll come back to you. Could the colleague from Zimbabwe, who was in my discussion group, yes, it's you. Sorry, your name is Sichona?
Yes.
Could you maybe, because I thought this was really interesting in our discussion group, comment on the on COSATU and the ANC? Just to add another element, because I thought, is that all right? Sorry, I'm slightly forceful here. Sorry.
Okay, I was saying, I felt like it wasn't a good thing that trade unions should be linked to political parties, because what happens is, trade unions are supposed to stand for the interests of the workers, but then what happens is politicians have got their own interests, and those interests change over time, and trade unions find themselves in a situation where they are now stuck with political parties, even if they are no longer for the interests of the workers. For example, you find a situation where the ANC is now adopting policies like privatization, liberal policies, and then COSATU is still stuck with ANC because they are in an alliance. I was kind of unprepared for this, but I think basically that's what I said in the discussion.
Thank you very much. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so I'll give the floor to Menaha and Fatima briefly, and then we close this session.
Just one thing I want to tell you, that it's not just we are coming out and saying no, right? Yes, we married, we lived together, we had a wonderful life. Yes, now you're beating me, right? I'm wounded, right? Because I'm married to you, how long I can bear it, right? So I don't want, and even if my children are not ready to bear it, okay, it's your time, you finish. All our life, right? My young age, it's gone, right? We are fighting, we are asking, there are a lot of discussion. It's not something I'm here criticizing or we don't want party, right? We tried our best. We tried to have discussion. We tried to, change them in a way, try to understand us, right? So it couldn't, but my point is, yes, it's a one family, we should not. Still I love party, but not this type of party, right? So that's why we don't want to be alone, we want some system. That's why I put that question. We need to think about a new mechanism, right? Yeah, only that.
Yeah, which I think is a really important question. We should follow up later on, maybe in discussions. Fatima?
Yeah, I just want to make a comment about the other parties. I mean, between the Socialist Party and the Conservative Party, before Podemos, the creation of Podemos, there was the only left party putting the workers in the first place as a priority. And with the rise of Podemos, this left party has lost a lot of votes. It has almost disappeared, which is a pity, because they were the only one to put workers at the first place. And this is a concern to think about it. When you talk about Podemos about the working class and all these kind of things, sometimes it's not so easy, really. It's like, oh, this is old things. They by the way, the leader, the mother of the leader of Podemos, she's a lawyer from Comisiones Obreras, it's totally crazy. But the success of Podemos, it has been because of the mass media communication. They wanted to break with bipartidism, and it has been like a phenomenon that they didn't expect to have. They didn't expect a lot of people voting for Podemos. But now it's a reality we need to face with. It's hard to work with, and we will try to do, of course, because we are responsible. It's our responsibility. But when there is the approach is from this suburb of you are caste, you are just caste, trade union caste, it hurts you because you are all the day at the workplace fighting for workers, trying to improve working conditions, and that is the thing that we need to face. But yes, it's good. It should be a tool, and it has been in the case of comisiones, for renewing ourselves, and all the changes that should have been done, they have to be done like quickly, because we have this problem with leaders, that they are not very young, so they don't understand how society is changing so fast. So a little bit of criticism, yes, but when we do things also good, they have to be recognized. But they will. I hope they will, and they will understand it.
Great. Thanks you very much, Fatima. Big challenge there. Thank you very much for your contributions.